قد أفلح المؤمنون.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. Respected Muslim brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today, I am joined by Sayyid Nasr, and we will be discussing the topic of whether or not Muawiya was one of Ahlul Sunnah. Sayyid Nasr, are you there?
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yeah, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Allah has gathered us today to discuss one of the significant figures in Islamic history. And we just I wanted to go on and ask you, why do we discuss a character like Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan, and why is it important to talk about if he's one of Ahlul Sunnah?
So, the reason why we're doing this session, the reason why we felt that this session would be beneficial, is because when it comes to Muawiya is one of those topics when it comes to polemics where you either love this topic or you hate the topic. It's not to say you love Muawiya. If you enjoy doing polemics and you enjoy exposing the mathalib of Muawiya ibn Abi Sufyan, or rather Muawiya ibn Hind, the fact of the matter is that Muawiya is extremely important to the Sunni madhab. He's extremely important. Whenever we see Sunnis claiming that Muawiya is not an important topic, we actually see a hilarious contradiction, because on the one hand, amongst themselves, the Mukhalifin will stand and they will say Muawiya is our uncle, Muawiya is Katibul Wahi, Muawiya is Amir al-Mu'mineen, Muawiya is the greatest king in Islamic history. But when it comes to debating us Shia, they hate to debate this topic. Correct? They hate to debate this topic because they know it's a topic that they cannot win. And we know that there are certain topics that the Mukhalifin do not like to debate. They do not like to debate Karbala. They do not like to debate Muawiyah. They do not like to debate Adalat al-Sahaba, because these topics have to do with history, and they know that this is a losing battle. And I'm sure you would agree, Brother Nasser, because you've experienced a few debates of your own.
Yes, yes.
But what I'm going to do, the first source that we will begin with today, and I believe this source will answer that question. It's like, why discuss Muawiyah? Why go over the mathalib of Muawiyah? How does that benefit anyone? Is we'll see the following. This is Kitab Tarikh Baghdad by al-Khatib al-Baghdadi. And I'm using the Dar al-Kutub al-Ilmiya print in volume 1, page 223. This reference is very, very good because it demonstrates for us the main issue, we would say. So it says here, he narrates with his chain. So he narrates with his chain that Rabi' ibn Nafi', and Rabi' ibn Nafi' is a famous early Sunni scholar. So he says, I heard Rabi' ibn Nafi' say, Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan sitru ashabi Rasulillah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, فإذا كشف الرجل الستر اجترئ على ما وراءه. So in English, what this translates is that he says Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan is the cover, he is the blanket, he is the curtain of the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So if a man pulls away the cover, that which is behind it will be violated. That which is behind it will be transgressed. Right? So what is he saying here? He is saying that Muawiyah is the last line of defense of the Sahaba. If Muawiyah goes down, then all the other Sahaba are vulnerable. The moment you open the door to criticizing Muawiyah and exposing the mathalib and the crimes and the transgressions of Muawiyah, what happens? All the Sahaba are now vulnerable. You've broken through the castle wall. And it is for this reason that we see that the Mukhalifin are terrified of debating Muawiyah. They will do anything they can to get away from debating Muawiyah. So when it comes to Muawiyah, we know that Muawiyah, we could say, is one of the founding fathers of Nasibism. And as we know that Nasibism, while not all of the Mukhalifin, not all of Ahlul Sunnah are Nawasib, unfortunately it had a profound impact on the development of their sect. And to this day, the Mukhalifin, especially the Wahhabi sect, they will write books trying to refute the accusations against Muawiyah. And I believe they were making a TV show about him, which was supposed to be released last Ramadan, but thank goodness they changed their mind and they pulled out of it. Because I think they knew that giving him that sort of attention, putting him in that spotlight, would warrant a response from the people who know how to expose Muawiyah. So, but with that being said, this is why discussing Muawiyah is important. Right? Like it cannot be denied. Whenever you see a mukhalif saying, "Oh, Muawiyah is not important. Let's debate this. Let's debate that." Say, okay, well, Muawiyah, according to your scholars, is the cape of the Sahaba. Are you worried that you won't be able to clear his name? Are you worried that, like, subhanallah, that your uncle, that your beloved Khalu, your beloved Mamujan is not going to be able to withstand the heat? So, with that being said, now we will move on to the main question of the day. The main question is like, was Muawiyah part of Ahlul Sunnah? Because as we know, Muawiyah is a very beloved figure for the Ahlul Sunnah. Now the question becomes, it's like, was Muawiyah one of them? Because when we, for example, look at Salman, we look at Abu Dhar, we look at Miqdad, we look at Ammar, we look at Ubadah ibn Samit, we look at these people, we look at our Salaf, we look at Malik al-Ashtar, we look at Abu Tufail. These people, we can clearly draw a line, say these people are our Salaf al-Salih, these people are our righteous predecessors, these are the people who, we are proof that our madhab existed since the very beginning. Wouldn't you agree, Sayyid?
Yes, I do agree. If just a little side note, people like in Nobakhti and others, they agree that these people were the first Shia. The standard is very clearly set for us.
Exactly. So now when we go over to the other side, we go over to the Mukhalifin and we ask them, who is your Salaf? When they say things like, oh, our Salaf is al-Siddiq or al-Faruq or Dhul Nurayn and Khalul al-Mu'mineen, our response is very simple. Prove it. We know you look up to these people. We know you take your religion from these people. But did these people believe in what you believe in? These people have the same aqidah as you? Did they follow the same fiqh as you? And often we will find that the answer is no. And that is why we make the claim. It's like the Sunni school of thought, as we know it today, did not come into existence until much later. So today what we're going to be looking at is a very, very clear proof that Muawiyah was not a Sunni. That if the Mukhalifin wish to claim him, they can't claim him. The only way they can claim to be the part of the same school as Muawiyah is they have to say, we're not Ahlul Sunnah, we are Nawasib, we are Umayyad partisans, we are Shi'at Uthman. That is the only way where they can claim Muawiyah.
And that leads me to ask real quick, if I may. So if clearly for like those, our early Salaf, the Shia Salaf, it's clearly known that people like Salman, Ammar, and Abu Tufail, Ridwanullahi alayhim, they were all called, either Rafida or Shi'a of Ali, that first generation. They're clearly defined as something. So what were the opposite sides defined as, if not Ahlus Sunnah? Because we know that came 100, 200 years later.
So what we know is, like, if we go back to the hadith, we go back to the hadith of the Prophet, even from the Mukhalifin, you're not going to see a group of the Sahaba referring to themselves as Ahlul Sunnah. On the contrary, they would just refer to themselves as Mu'mineen, they would refer to themselves as Muslimin, right? But after the death of Uthman, the Muslim Ummah was divided into multiple factions. And so the faction that existed from the beginning, we would say, is the Shi'a of Ali. Shi'a of Ali, they existed, we would say, like, we have a hadith from the Prophet ﷺ referring to them, referring to, Ali alayhi salam as being khairul bariyah, and that his Shi'a are his followers, and they are the victorious ones on Yawm al-Qiyamah. But then with the death of the Prophet, we see that the first Shi'a were the companions of Rasulullah who gathered around Ali, who rallied around Ali alayhi salam. But when it comes to the death of Uthman, we see that the Ummah divided into multiple factions. And one of these factions, the one that would become powerful, the one that would overpower the others, was the Shi'a of Uthman, the Uthmanis, the people who preferred Uthman to Ali alayhi salam. And the Ahlul Sunnah, while they are not like directly Uthmanis, they are not Nawasib, they are not of that pro-Umayyad persuasion, the concept of believing Uthman is better than Ali is something they inherited from them. Right? So, and that's what we see. We see that at Siffin, Ali's enemies were the Shia of Uthman. We see that at Karbala, al-Hussein's enemies were the Shia of Uthman. We see that, the Shia of Uthman, they killed Zayd al-Shahid. We see that it was finally the Abbasid revolution that toppled Bani Umayyah, but their influence would continue in the form of the Nasibi school of thought. And then, of course, we have the Khawarij, who, the Mukhalifin can't seem to make up their mind. They think that the Khawarij killed Uthman, but their books say the Sahaba killed Uthman. That leads us to ask, are you saying the Sahaba were Khawarij?
Khawarij, yeah.
So, but with that being said, I wish to now begin. It's like, what is the status of Muawiyah? Was he one of Ahlul Sunnah? Right? So this is Kitab Sahih al-Bukhari. This is the book that the Mukhalifin revere and they consider to be their most authentic book when it comes to its chains of transmission. So he narrates with his sanad from Ikrimah ibn Khalid. I believe he has multiple chains of transmission for this report, actually. I think he has 2 or 3. He narrates that Ibn Umar said, and there is a bit of historical context there, and I think you know about it, Sayyid. And maybe some of our listeners, some of our viewers may not know about it. We will, inshallah, go over it. So the report says, Ibn Umar said, I went to Hafsa. Hafsa is his sister, the wife of the Prophet. I went to Hafsa while water was dribbling from her twined braids, and I said, the condition of the people is as you see, and no authority has been given to me. So for context, this is during the civil war between Ali and Muawiya. Between Amir al-Muminoon alayhi salam and Muawiya ibn Alamat Istifham. So during the civil war, Abdullah ibn Umar, he had remained neutral. He had not given bay'ah to Ali, nor had he sided with Muawiya. And it seems that he has come to his sister whining that, oh no, like I have not done anything, but for some reason no one is coming to me. No one is coming to me as a leader. No authority has been given to me. So his sister Hafsa advises him, go to them, and as they are waiting for you, and I am afraid your absence from them will produce division amongst them. So Hafsa did not leave Ibn Umar until we went to them. So what is this matter referring to? This is referring to what is known as in Islamic history at-tahkim. So the tahkim, I believe it took place in a place called Dumat al-Jandal, which is in northern Arabia. It was considered to be neutral ground. It wasn't like, part of Sham, part of Iraq. So Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, who had been appointed by, rather against Ali's will, alayhi salam, and Amr ibn al-As came together for the tahkim in order to decide the fate of the ummah. And so what happens next is an incident that requires its own analysis, as we know, in that Abu Musa al-Ash'ari was deceived by Amr ibn al-As. Amr ibn al-As convinced them, let's replace both Ali and Muawiya. So you go first. So Amr ibn al-As allows Abu Musa to go first. Abu Musa says, oh, everyone, listen, we have come to a conclusion. I am removing Ali from the caliphate as I removed this ring from my finger. So Amr ibn al-As stood up. He says, you heard it here first, folks. He removes Ali and I am making Muawiyah the new caliph. And so the arbitration, the tahkim, just as Imam Ali had warned the people of Iraq, it was a sham. It was just a trick by Muawiyah and Amr ibn al-As to delay the inevitable victory of Ali at Siffin. And unfortunately, they fell for it. So, and this is really interesting. I want to discuss this, by the way. So we have Amr ibn al-As, because after this happens, Abu Musa al-Ash'ari says, Amr ibn al-As lied to me. He deceived me. And Amr ibn al-As says, no, I did not deceive him. You have 2 Sahaba accusing each other of lying. Which is it?
The Sahaba goes out the window here then.
The Sahaba goes out the window, we would say. And now we're going to see Adalat Muawiyah is about to go out the window when we read the rest of this report. So it says, when the people differed, and this is referring to when the tahkim was over, when people started yelling and shouting, it's like this is a fraud, this is not a real arbitration. Muawiyah addressed the people saying, if anyone wants to say anything in this matter of the Khilafah, he should show up and not conceal himself, for we are more rightful to be a caliph than he and his father. What is Muawiyah saying here?
Isn't it that he's more rightful to be a caliph than Abdullah ibn Umar.
It's Abdullah ibn Umar and his father. طيب. So Muawiyah, why
Why
is
is
he
he going
saying?
against his beloved Umar?
Why is he saying this? Why is he saying this? So we'll get to that in a second. On that, Habib ibn Maslama said to Ibn Umar, "Why don't you reply to him?" And he's being an instigator. It's like, bro, me personally, I would not take that. If someone said that about me, my father, me personally, I would do something. So Abdullah ibn Umar said, I untied my garment that was going round my back and legs while I was sitting, and I was about to say, he who fought against you and against your father for the sake of Islam is more rightful to be a caliph. So this line here is very, very important. It makes a bunch of people look bad. Right? Who's he referring to? He who fought against you and your father for the sake of Islam. Who is this?
Ali alayhi salam.
Ali alayhi salam. So he's like, I wanted to say in my head, in my mind, I was saying, in my mind, I imagined myself standing up to Muawiyah. And as we know, Abdullah ibn Umar does not stand up to anybody. He does not stand up to anybody. So he says, in my mind, I was like the hero. I was like, but the one who fought against you and your dad is better than you. He is more deserving to be Khalifa. Well,
Grandizer held himself back at the last second.
You're lucky I'm holding myself back, Muawiyah. Otherwise, I could seriously get hurt. I could seriously hurt myself. So the question becomes, Ya ibn Umar, Ya Abdullah ibn Umar, qatalak Allah. If you admit that Ali is more worthy to be Khalifa, why didn't you give him bay'ah? Because as we know, Abdullah ibn Umar ibn al-Khattab did not give bay'ah to Amir al-Mu'mineen. And the Mukhalifeen praise him for this, by the way. They're like, look at how pious Ibn Umar is. Allahu Akbar. Look at how he stayed out of the fitna. Look at how religious he is, how he chose to stay out of the fitna.
Giving bay'ah to Ali is staying out of fitna, but giving bay'ah to Uthman is islah and the right thing and the wajib.
Absolutely. And if we go to Kitab Fath al-Bari by Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani. In Fath al-Bari, volume 6, page 145, he says the following. Ibn Hajar records the following. Rather, this is volume 5, page 30. I was reading the wrong scan there. So he says the following. He says, وإنما لم يذكر ابن عمر خلافة علي لأنه لم يبايع لو وقع الاختلاف عليه كما هو مشهور في صحيح الأخبار وكان رأى أنه لا يبايع لمن لم يجتمع عليه الناس ولهذا لم يبايع أيضا لابن الزبير ولا لعبد الملك في حال اختلافهما وبايع ليزيد بن معاوية ثم لعبد الملك بن مروان بعد قتل ابن الزبير. It's like Abdullah ibn Umar is, Ibn Hajar is explaining Ibn Umar's position when it comes to the Khulafa. So did he give bay'ah to Imam Ali?
No.
No, Ali, I won't give you bay'ah because there's ikhtilaf on you. طيب? Then did he give bay'ah to Muawiyah? He did not give bay'ah to Muawiyah during the Civil War, but he gave bay'ah to him later. Correct? So he did not give bay'ah to Ibn Zubayr, nor did he give bay'ah to Abdul Malik ibn Marwan during their conflict. But who did he give bay'ah to?
To Yazid and then Abdul Malik.
Yazid,
after Ibn Zubayr's death.
MashaAllah. Yeah, MashaAllah. The son of Al-Faruq.
Yazid ibn Muawiya, but not Ali ibn Abi Talib.
High dunya, Sayyid. High dunya. Today you don't give bay'ah to Amir al-Mu'mineen. Tomorrow you give bay'ah to Yazid. You give bay'ah to Abdul Malik ibn Marwan. Right? So here Ibn Umar is like, we ask him, it's like, Ibn Umar, why are you admitting that Ali is the more deserving one of the Khilafah? Why did you not give him bay'ah? Right? Then we move on to another point of analysis here. He who fought against you and against your father for the sake of Islam. A lot of the Mukhalifeen have this theory that they push. They're like, Muawiyah was secretly Muslim before the fall of Mecca. So this chapter, if we look at the hadith in Bukhari, what chapter is it in?
This is in the chapter of military expeditions led by the Prophet, Kitab al-Maghazi, يعني.
Kitab al-Maghazi. Bab Ghazwat al-Khandaq wa hiya al-Ahzab. طيب? So that's why this is another example of Bukhari being horrible at organizing hadith, is that he put this hadith about Tahkim and about the Civil War because it has a vague reference to the Battle of Ahzab, Ma'rakat al-Khandaq. he puts it in here. And it wasn't just Khandaq, it was Badr, it was Uhud, it was, of course, Al-Ahzab and Khandaq, right? Where Rasulullah
Yeah.
sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and Amir al-Mu'mineen fought against Abu Sufyan and against
Fath
Muawiyah.
as well.
Yeah, Fath Makkah, yes. So Ibn Umar here is admitting that him and his father were enemies of Islam. This theory that the Mukhalifin give, this historical revisionism that Muawiyah was secretly a Muslim all along, is complete nonsense. He says, but I was afraid that my statement might produce differences amongst the people and cause bloodshed, and my statement might be interpreted not as I intended. So I kept quiet, remembering what Allah has prepared in the gardens of paradise for those who are patient and prefer the hereafter to this worldly life. Habib said, you did what kept you safe and secure. Correct? Go ahead, say.
It's subhanAllah, it's like tark al-haq for this. Like he knows it's the haq, but it's I'm going to stay quiet.
And subhanAllah, these same people, these followers of Ibn Umar and Muawiyah, to this day, they will mock the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. They will mock the Ahlul Bayt. They'll say, why didn't Ali fight for his right? Ali is a coward according to you people. Abdullah ibn Umar is not a coward according to us. Abdullah ibn Umar is a coward according to his biography. Just read his biography. Not once did he ever stand up for what is right.
Hell, he didn't know how to divorce his wife.
According to his own father, Ahsant. But the closest thing Abdullah ibn Umar did to something praiseworthy, we would say, is that he, wrote a letter to Yazid to free al-Mukhtar ibn Abi Ubayd al-Thaqafi. And that, triggered, as we know, what Mukhtar would end up doing. Correct? That's the closest thing Abdullah ibn Umar did to actually taking a stance, to standing up. Correct? And we would say that he did not do this of his own volition. He did this because his sister, or not his sister, because Mukhtar's sister was Ibn Umar's wife. Right? So now back to Muawiyah, back to the beloved Mamujan of the Mukhalifin. What does this hadith prove about Muawiyah and his aqidah? According to Ahlul Sunnah, if we go back to the books of the aqaid of Ahlul Sunnah, in order to be Ahlul Sunnah, how does the tafdeel, hierarchy go? When it comes to tafdeel, how does it go?
So I was reading the other day that I want to say the qaida mainly got standardized during the time of Abu Hanifa and what came after that. So after the 2nd century Hijri, and so his saying was there was Abu Bakr and then Umar and then Uthman, and then his opinion is that Ali, but others differ with him on this matter.
Because we know Abu Hanifa is not Ahlul Sunnah. Abu Hanifa was
He's
a
murji'i.
Ahlul Ra'i Murji'i. طيب? He's not one of Ahlul Hadith. Yes. So we want to see what Ahlul Sunnah believe. I want to see what the opinion of Ahlul Sunnah is. So in Kitab al-Sunnah by al-Khalal, which is a book by the codifier of the Hanbali madhab, I believe this is Abi Bakr Ahmad ibn Muhammad al-Khalal. طيب? So he records this. It says Bab fit Tafdeel. And I find this very confusing. I don't know what volume this is because volume 1 through 3 are in like one PDF. It's very, very confusing. It's Hadith 507, or it's report 507. In report 507, look what he says. He says that Salih, and this is Salih ibn Ahmad ibn Hanbal, سأل أباه عمن لا يفضل أبا بكر وعمر على غيرهما قال السنة عندنا في التفضيل ما قال ابن عمر كنا نعد ورسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم حي أبو بكر وعمر وعثمان ونسكت.
And then we stay quiet. There's no one else.
Then we stay quiet. What does that mean? It means that according to Ahmad ibn Hanbal, to be Ahlul Sunnah, you have to believe that when it comes to superiority, it's Abu Bakr, then Umar, then Uthman, then you stop. Everyone else is equal. There's no clear superior, which is absurd.
That is very absurd.
Very absurd. But that's not.
And it's just to show you that even their Sunnism wasn't even standardized as well. Exactly. As like you have other people that they claim to be part of their madhab because people will disagree. It's like Abu Hanifa is Ahlul Sunnah, right? But he's disagreeing here.
He's
right?
not. He says Ali and Muawiya
exactly. Yeah. They go against Ibn Umar and their Sahaba. It's like, so what's the standardized Ahlul Sunnah? And it shows you that it's not really standardized per se, not even today, but that doesn't start until the 4th century.
Right. So now let's take a look. Let's take a closer look at what Muawiyah said at the Tahkim. This is Kitab Irshad al-Sari, which is one of the big sharhs of Sahih al-Bukhari. We know the big sharhs are, Fath al-Bari, Irshad al-Sari, Umdat al-Qari. Irshad al-Sari is by, I believe,
He's another
al-Asqalani.
scholar from Asqalan.
Yeah, he's
Shihab
another scholar from
al-Asqalani.
Yes. So he says the following. He says he's doing sharh of the hadith. So he stops and explains it word for word. So the same hadith that we just read. فَلَنَحْنُ أَحَقُّ بِهِ, we deserve it more. بأمر الخلافة منه من عبد الله بن عمر ومن أبيه عمر. Hi Musiba. This is a problem because Ahl Sunnah believe that it's Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman. Stop. Muawiyah, what is he saying?
He's saying it's Ibn Umayyah.
He says, I am better than Umar and his kids. I am better than you. He's indirectly addressing Abdullah ibn Umar. I am better than you, more deserving of the Khilafah than you and your father.
Yeah.
This is a problem for them. Now look at what he tries to do to try to cope for Muawiyah. This is what we see, that the followers of Muawiyah, they always have to resort to games like this. They always have to play this game. Look what he does. وَلَعَلَّ Muawiyah. And again, this is la'al. This is not even clear. This is him.
It's a maybe. It's a maybe.
وَلَعَلَّ مُعَاوِيَةَ كَانَ رَأْيُهُ فِي الْخِلَافَةِ تقديم الفاضل في القوة والمعرفة والرأي على الفاضل في السبق إلى الإسلام والدين فلذا أطلق أنه أحق. So he's like, maybe Muawiyah's political theory, his political science theory, his school of thought was that Khilafah, you're not more deserving of the Khilafah if you're more religious, if you're more pious.
His master's degree in political science led him to say.
At Dar al-Nadwa University, right? Dar al-Nadwa University, right? So what he's saying here is that, no, Muawiyah's theory was not that it's like you're an earlier Muslim or you're a better Muslim. That's not what makes you more worthy of the Khilafah. What makes you more worthy of the Khilafah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam?
You know, how good you are at politics and
power. How good you are when it comes to power. How good you are when it comes to like political military strength, right? And we see that the same belief of Muawiyah is prevalent in the Muslim world today. Unfortunately, you see that is the way it is in the Muslim world today.
And even so, if this is what Muawiyah believes how Khilafah should work, again, he's going against what Ammat Ahlul Sunnah believe about the Khilafah.
He's not Ahlul Sunnah. He's not Ahlul Sunnah. And as for the report of Abdullah ibn Umar, someone said, well, that was Ibn Hanbal's opinion. That is not Ibn Hanbal's opinion. This is a hadith in Sahih al-Bukhari. In Sahih al-Bukhari, hadith 3655, he says, we used to compare the people as to who was better during the lifetime of Allah's Messenger. We used to regard Abu Bakr as the best, then Umar, then Uthman. It doesn't say anything else. Like Imam Ali is not even in the conversation. Imam Ali is not even a candidate. The Aqidah of Ibn Hanbal, if you read the rest of Kitab al-Sunnah by al-Khalad, he says, our belief is that it's Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, stop. No one is, after that, no tafleed. Then the Khulafa are Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali. Like Ali is the fourth caliph, but he is not the fourth best. Which is just, subhanAllah. Correct?
First three, you get to order them. As for Ali ibn Abi Talib, leave him to the side.
We also read, and look at this. This is Kitab al-Isti'ab by Ibn Abdul Barr. In Kitab al-Isti'ab by Ibn Abdul Barr, page 535, he says the following. قال Abu Umar, I believe this is him, this is Abi Umar Ibn Abdul Barr al-Qurtubi, al-Andalusi. He says, من قال بحديث ابن عمر كنا نقول على عهد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أبو بكر ثم عمر ثم عثمان ثم نسكت يعني فلا نفاضل.
Everyone else is equal.
Correct? But look what he says later. واختلف السلف أيضا في تفضيل علي وأبي بكر. When he says that,
so now their Salaf also have differences.
Exactly. Well, who's he referring to? He's referring to Salman. He's referring to Miqdad, Abu Dhar, Ammar, the Hunayf brothers, Sahl ibn Hunayf, Uthman ibn Hunayf, Abu Ayyub al-Ansari, Abu Tufail. So now we ask the question, you say, wait a minute, the Sahaba were not Ahlul Sunnah. Okay, طيب, those Sahaba that I just listed are Shia. They're our guys. What about your beloved Mamujan? Mamujan is your uncle, and you people fight to the death to protect him. You killed one of your great imams. They killed Nasai because not even because he attacked Muawiyah. Nasai did not attack Muawiyah. What did he say about Muawiyah?
He couldn't find a virtue for him.
He could not find a virtue. He's like, I don't know any virtues for Muawiyah. So, like, he should
Only
be,
hadith
consider
he
him,
knew is لا أشبع الله بطنه.
لا أشبع الله بطنه. أحسنت. طيب. And it's for this reason we will point to what Ibn Taymiyyah says in his Kitab Minhaj al-Sunnah. In Minhaj al-Sunnah, and I'm using the Dar al-Kutub al-Ilmiyah print, which is not a common print, in volume 4, page 156 to 157, look what he says. He says, مع أن الحاكم النيسابوري منسوب إلى التشيع وقد طلب منه أن يروي حديثا في فضل معاوية فقال ما يجيء من قلبي وقد ضربوه على ذلك فلم يفعل. So, Al-Hakim was a little Shi'i. Why was he Shi'i? Why is Al-Hakim Shi'i? Did he believe in 12 Imams? Did he believe in Isma? What was Al-Hakim's problem?
Al-Hakim, he refused to narrate a hadith about Muawiya.
Right? So he says later, I'm not going to read the full thing, but it says later.
They used to attack him for it.
They beat him for it. They beat him for it, and he still wouldn't do it. لكن تشيعه, this is towards the bottom of the page, وتشيع أمثاله من أهل العلم بالحديث كالنسائي وابن عبد البر وأمثالهما لا يبلغ إلى تفضيله على أبي بكر وعمر. It says, these guys were Shia, but they never thought Ali was better than Abu Bakr and Umar. Okay, they didn't believe that Ali was better than Abu Bakr and Umar. What was it that they believed that was so controversial, that was so dangerous?
Ibn Abd al-Barr as well.
They had a problem with Muawiyah. That was it. A problem with Muawiyah, you are now Shia. Correct? But now we go back to Muawiyah. So from this report, we see Muawiyah, is he on the aqidah of the Ahlul Sunnah that in Tafdeel, it's Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, then we stop? What was his belief?
They're concerning Muawiyah here.
No, what's Muawiyah's belief according to the hadith in Bukhari?
Muawiyah's belief is that he is number one, and then we don't know what he thinks.
He's better than Umar. Maybe Abu Bakr. Maybe if Abu Bakr's son was there at this meeting as well, he would have said something about him as well, right? It's like, I'm better than Umar. I'm better than you and your father, Abdullah ibn Umar. As we saw that, as it's clearly said, but we quoted Irshad al-Sari, because we see the Mukhalifin, when you give them a hadith, they start making up their own interpretation. They'll probably say, oh, it's not referring to Abdullah ibn Umar. That's why we cited that report. But now we have to ask a question. According to the Mukhalifin, one of the hadiths that they love chanting and parroting on their pulpits is that Ali alayhi salam, according to them, he said, if I catch anyone, right, يُفَضِّلُنِي عَلَىٰ أَبِي بَكْرٍ وَعُمَرٍ. What does he say he's going to do?
He's going to whip him.
حد المفتري. قيم عليه حد المفتري. طيب, this hadith is obviously a fabrication. We don't need to waste our time explaining why. Because for a very simple reason, and we learned this argument from Imam Sajjad. This is not an argument we came up with. Rasulullah said to Imam Ali, أنت مني بمنزلة هارون من موسى. سلام الله عليهم وعلى أمير المؤمنين وعلى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Rasulullah says, you are to me as Harun was to Musa. This report is one of the most mutawatir fada'il of Imam Ali. The only person that would reject it is a Nasibi like Imran ibn Hattan. Correct? Or what's his name? Ali
ibn Uthman, who used to say that the hadith, he said, أنت مني بمنزلة قارون من موسى.
Yes. والعياذ بالله. Correct? This is in his bio, and Tadib will throw it up on the screen for you guys. طيب? But now we ask the question, you say, wait a minute, Ali says, whoever says I'm better than Abu Bakr and Umar, أجلده حد المفتري. So now we ask the Mukhalifin, what about your uncle Muawiyah? Uncle Muawiyah considered himself better than Umar. So what, according to Ali, according to your quotation of Ali, according to this hadith that you fabricated on Imam Ali, but for them they consider it reliable, and they, for them it's one of the most authentic hadith. According to them, what should be done to Muawiyah?
He should be whipped.
He should be whipped, but instead, what did they do?
They sent Taradli on him.
Amir al-Mu'minin.
al-Muminoon. Katib
al-Wahi. Right? Malik al-Islam. Right? Sitar al-Sahaba, as we said. He's the cape of the Sahaba. طيب? So now we ask the question. If Muawiyah is not Ahlul Sunnah, if he's not the Salaf of Ahlul Sunnah, he considers himself, if he considers himself better than Umar, what is his opinion on Imam Ali?
He hates Ali ibn Abi Talib, no?
He believes he's better than Ali. The whole point of the tahkim was to establish his legitimacy and to delegitimize Amir al-Mu'mineen salamullahi alayh. طيب? So now we ask the question. We ask the Mukhalifin the question. If Muawiyah is not your Salaf, who is your Salaf? If you say it's Abdullah ibn Umar, هنيئا لكم. هنيئا لكم يا مخالفين. Your Salaf is the man who gave bay'ah to Yazid and to Abdul Malik ibn Marwan.
And didn't know how to divorce his wife.
And didn't know how to divorce his wife. And did not give bay'ah to Ali alayhi salam. He did not consider Ali to be the fourth Khalifa. But with that being said, we are going to bring this discussion to a close. I want to thank Brother Nasser for
Thank you.
joining me today. I want to just want to say I hope the viewers, the listeners, learned something, and inshallah we'll continue with these discussions. I think it's more beneficial when we have these sort of like back and forth discussions. Inshallah we'll continue to do these. But with that being said, please keep us in your dua. Please do not forget to like and subscribe and check out our other videos, our other refutations by Brother Lucorios, Brother Kakashi, as well as our biographies. And we will end with Surah Al-Fatiha. تسبقها الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى